My mom thought I was crazy when I told her I was into underwater hockey. And she continues to think I'm crazy when I show up with black eyes. But she's also my biggest fan when I'm at the World Championships. My name is Tiara Yulberg, and I'm the captain of the U.S. Women's Underwater Hockey Team. So underwater hockey is played 6-on-6. We're not wearing tanks, just fins, mask and snorkel. The puck is weighted and sits on the bottom of the pool, and players use a short one-handed stick to play the puck. Unlike ice hockey, there's no goalie in underwater hockey. And the snorkel helps you watch the play while you're recovering on the surface, but otherwise you're holding your breath when you're actually involved in the play. We take underwater hockey very seriously. The U.S. women's national team compete at the World Championships. They're held every 2 years, and they bring in about 25 different countries to compete to be the best of the best. It really is the ultimate team sport because there's no puck hog that can just do everything for your team. Eventually that person's going to have to come up to breathe, and you have to have a teammate there to take your place. If I'm about to score and I'm running out of air, I'm gonna freaking score. We see people coming to underwater hockey both from swimming backgrounds and from ice hockey backgrounds. We struggle from the fact that most people in the United States don't grow up playing it. People don't grow up holding their breath and trying to kick hard underwater. They grow up playing soccer and playing basketball. There's no money in underwater hockey, so we're absolutely doing it for the love of the sport. I love underwater hockey. It's so elegant. Being underwater is just a beautiful thing. I feel like some really gorgeous sea creature when I play.
When I tell people I'm a pro foosball player, there's always a look of astonishment. I get laughter sometimes too. What? I didn't know there's tournaments for that. Foosball? Yeah, that's the one. That's what I do. Foosball is not just a barroom game. It's a competitive sport that's played at a professional level by people all around the world. It's like a hand-to-hand combat. You're standing this close, you're standing 3 feet away from your opponent, and it's almost like you're in a fight. You're battling against each other. I come from a long line of foosball players. I got into foosball because of my dad. He played in the golden era, the 1970s, when there was a $1 million tour. I've been playing for 20 years now. So for the first 10 to 12 years of my career, I would practice on a table at home. It would be complete repetition, over and over and over. Every player in here can execute a shot or a pass, but it's a matter of constructing a solid game plan. It's like a game of chess. On the mental side, it could be pretty taxing. Physically, by the end of the weekend, you're sore. Your hands are sore, your feet are sore, so you have to be in decent shape. I always got a sweatband on my arm just in case I get into a heated match. I gotta, wipe my brow, so. I go to the World Cup, which is basically our version of the Olympics, and I compete on Team USA. I do believe it should be in the Olympics. Our only problem is the fact that there's not a standardized foosball table. And I'll do whatever it takes to, for the sport to reach that next level. Bottom line is it makes me happy that this is what I do, and yeah, I love it.
How many people have the opportunity to be a world champion at anything? We have the opportunity to do something that no one else does. This isn't played anywhere else in the world. So yeah, it's serious, we want to win.
We're here to watch unicycle football. It's football on unicycles.
We stick to NFL rules as closely as possible. Except there are a few exceptions because we're riding a unicycle.
We play 5-on-5, 2 receivers, a blocker, a center, and a quarterback. Everything has to be done on a wheel. The second your foot touches the ground, you're done.
Each team plays 14 games. There's 56 regular season games total, then wild card playoffs, then playoffs, and then the Super Bowl.
Every Sunday, some people have been doing this for 10 years now. My team, the Blackouts, we're undefeated, and we're going to be playing the reigning champs, the Herons.
Bulldoze them over. Bulldoze them.
This game is very important because we want to maintain our undefeated status leading up to the Super Bowl.
They're definitely gunning for us. They're practicing just for us.
I think that a lot of times people come to this game, what shocks them is the level of play. We're crashing at 15 miles an hour. It's not a joke. Some people get seriously injured.
Most people learn to ride unicycle because they came and witnessed this event and they're like, I've got to do this.
Once you catch that first ball, once you get that first rush, once you hear the crowd scream your name once, that's a feeling you can't get anywhere else.
That's almost like a religion church to us here.
There's passion, you know? It's a show, it's a spectacle, it's also a sport. I've cherished every minute of it. You can't replace it with anything. There's nothing else like it at all.
There is nothing leisurely about competitive eating. This is an aerobic activity. It's like running a marathon and a 100-yard dash at the same time, except your feet are standing still, but your stomach is moving at 100 miles an hour. My name's Crazy Legs Conti. I've been a major league eater for 15 years. I cannot think of a single food that has not gone competitively into my stomach. Make no mistake, competitive eating is a real sport. It's muscle memory. Your stomach, mind, and body has it if you've prepared well enough. What can go wrong are not the voices in your stomach, but the voices in your head. You're getting full, conscious is going forever. When will this end? Your strategy has to be spot on in terms of your technique, but you don't actually taste the food. At about 15, I start to feel the drag on peristalsis in my system. In competitive eating, we call it the wall. That's where your body just says stop. You're sweating, your cheeks are puffed out, you're exhausted. The last 2 minutes are where dreams are made and realities are broken. That's the most difficult part of any contest. There is no magic in the aftermath of competitive eating. We digest everything we eat. I need to continually drink liquids to kind of create a log flume-like ability in my system. The minimum for any competitive eating contest is 24 hours before I feel human, and by human I mean as a casual diner again. I find the activity of competitive eating to be grueling and challenging and esoteric, but rewarding. I'm going to eat for the rest of my life. I might as well do it competitively.
You probably remember this hilarious moment from When Harry Met Sally.
And she tells you all her stories, you tell all your stories.
Well, this ridiculous rom-com scene is indicative of a real and very serious sport, which, believe it or not, introduced society to sport betting. Competitive walking, better known to some as pedestrianism, started in the 1800s. Aristocrats at that time had footmen, whose job was to carry messages from one aristocrat to another. It was only a matter of time until the aristocrats started making wagers on whose footman was faster, thus the birth of sport betting as we know it. Competitive walking grew into a real sporting event and reached its peak in the 1870s and 1880s, when spectators would show up in Super Bowl-like masses to see people walk competitively. They've even filled up the original Madison Square Garden. Wow. Sometimes races would last up to 6 days, and the atmosphere was almost festival-like. Brass bands played, vendors sold pickled eggs, maybe even some roasted chestnuts. Yum. The competitions drew everyone, from celebrities to politicians, even regular folk. Champagne, of all things, was the drink of choice for walkers. They thought it was a stimulant, and as one would, they drank it by the bottle. And guess what? It kind of worked. One guy walked 136 miles in just 34 hours. Bottoms up.